Huples cat. I'm going to sort out some stuff indoors today because it's not really that great outdoors. Today I'm going to empty out my medication stores, sort it all and list what's in here and put it back in the boxes. Well, I've opened the small one and I've sorted it out. So now I'm going to open up the big one and we'll see what's in there, and then I will catalogue everything and repack. Well, it's all been emptied out. I've got quite a lot of work to do here, but I'm just going to give you a quick tour of some of the highlights that you may not think about for your own first aid supplies. I have 3 years supply of multivits for me and for Kitty, or a 6-year supply for one person. I know I've stored other multivits in large bottles around the place, but why multivits? They provide trace elements. And trace elements is something I might be short of up here. Relying on this land for my vegetables might mean after a few years I run out of trace minerals. Also, in an ongoing disaster, I wouldn't take multivits every day. I mean, that's something we do in the here and now because we have abundance. But I'd take them about maybe once or twice a week. I would also prescribe 2-week course of daily multivits to people who come to me for healthcare treatment because I intend to set up a medical facility as soon as it's safe for my local people. The placebo effect improves 30% of everybody that takes the placebo. So just giving them multivits will actually make them feel better. But it might also help. In the absence of modern healthcare, whatever I can do that's going to improve a situation, I should try and do. I have 2 pill cutters because that's important. It's important to not have to use a knife, but to do it safely and effectively. I have this because lice will be an issue. I have this for wound care and also for other issues like toenails. This is a packet of condoms. You'd be surprised. This is a ring cutter. If you have a trauma and you have a ring on your hand, and you shouldn't have rings on your hand in SHTF ever, this will get it off. This is a nice blade if I have to do wound care. This is how I can measure my wounds and make sure I'm improving them. This is cheap water purification tablets from China. I don't really want to use them. So I put them in this kit to make some water up that might be sterile, because I don't want to drink this. I have this. I have paper backups just in case I can actually use the CD-ROM. I can find out drug information using this. Because I intend to provide medical service, I keep containers. I also have the more traditional ones, but I can use plastic bags. I do have labels to give them the right instructions. My kits have been developed over quite a few years, but they reflect what's happened over those years as well, as we'll see. Early on in the pandemic, I got an awful lot of coughs and syrup and all that sort of stuff. Haven't had to use it, don't really recommend it, but there was a shortage, and this is probably why. Those people watching this that are actually preppers will remember that there was a shortage of basic analgesia not that long ago. Those of you who are true preppers, not fake preppers, acted to make sure that you wouldn't run out of analgesia. The rest of you forgot about the issue as soon as the supply is restored. This is a whole bunch of Tylenol. This will last me, I think, forever. Tylenol effectively never goes off. Aspirin, however, does go off, and it goes off reasonably quickly. It smells at all of vinegar. It's a poison. It breaks down into a chemical poison. So for that reason, I don't store aspirin. For me, Advil after about 3 to 4 years is completely ineffective, so that's why I don't store that. But both aspirin and Advil actually will cause the blood to thin and bleed. So again, Tylenol might be your go-to. Unless you've been drinking so much you've got a bad liver in the disaster. 3 years on, I'm still taking NAC. I don't take it every day, but I take it most days, and I have for about 3 years now. It has clinically proven effectiveness for certain types of respiratory infection, and that's why I'm still taking it. But I also have some stored up for future use in an apocalypse. Burns are a major issue. A lot of this is lidocaine, and it will actually remove the pain, but you've got to be careful with heart problems. Afterbite. This won't be going back in this kit. Years ago, somebody gave me this. It's cannabis chew. If all else fails, analgesia. However, I also have a fair amount of Tramadol. Tramadol is highly addictive, and once they stopped using it for humans, they started prescribing it in abundance for my dogs who didn't really need it. So I got it anyway, and I kept it. It's always useful. You've got to be careful of addiction with this sort of stuff, but if somebody's lost an arm, I don't see anything wrong with giving them a couple of Tramadol for 3 days. Backup Pectin, potassium iodide tablets, and expired Tamiflu. Dental stuff. I have 2 bottles of really important liquid, and I suggest you have these in your kits. One is vodka. You can use this to sterilise, you can also use it as an analgesic. The other one you might not have is peppermint. Peppermint's in here for 2 reasons. One, it's fairly effective in keeping mice and rodents out of your house. At least it was for our cottage when we had it over the winter. It's also really effective at masking really horrible smells. Put a mask on and a bit of peppermint oil, you don't smell the bowel feces awfulness of some types of illness. Of course I have stuff for asthma, I also have stuff for bad bowels, and I have a lot of antibiotics that I got, and the capacity today, and give IV antibiotics if I feel like it. I can start IVs, I do have minimal IV start equipment, but in all honesty, rectal hydration is the way I would go in a condition of no modern healthcare. It's by far the most safer method from every point of view, from the point of view of infection and from the point of view of technical ability. So now I label all of this stuff and I put it back in the boxes. This was my original emergency kit from probably about 15 years ago. I shoved it in the box. It's useless in the box as an emergency kit, so I'm going to go through it, and anything that should be in the box will be in the box, and the rest of it I'm going to redeploy so I can actually use it in an emergency. I always find when I start these types of projects it takes a lot longer than I expected. However, I hope you get some benefit from my ramblings. All sorts of goodies in here now. It's going to go in my closet and I can use as a backup to my regular first aid equipment. All sorted, all organised. Thanks for watching. Ready to go in a major disaster? I really hope I never have to use it. Toodles! This has been a Tiny Terrier production 2024.